Hello, my name is Samantha Pena. I'm a paranormal investigator for PPRS. Recently, PPRS conducted an investigation on a pair of railroad tracks in Festus, Missouri, coming off of Highway A on September 7, 2010. The story behind that is that there was a young couple, there was a man and a woman. They lived in the city of Festus. The man came home from his job one snowy evening, and his wife revealed to him that she was pregnant, but the child may possibly not be his. He got infuriated, jumped into his car, and was going to drive away and possibly leave his wife because he could not believe the fact that she had cheated on him. She ran out of the house and jumped into the car with him because she did not want him to do anything stupid. Plus, she was afraid that he was probably going to leave her, and she wanted to explain herself further. As they were driving down Highway A, they came off of Highway A and went on the train tracks, and as he went over the train tracks, his car stopped. And she's like, "What are you doing?" And he locked the doors, and as she tried to get out of the car, he kept pulling her back in and locking the door, and she's figuring, okay, what are you doing? And then out of nowhere, she heard a horn, the little horn of a train, and then around the corner, here was coming a train. And she's freaking out. She wants to get out of the car, but he wouldn't let her out of the car. He kept locking the door and pulling her back in the car. And when it was too late, the car was struck by the train, and they were both killed instantly, her unborn child and the man. And several years later, after the death of these two people and the unborn child, there was another couple who got off of Highway A and was going over the train tracks, and they were going home. And it was another snowy night on top of it. And when they were going over the train tracks, their car, for some reason, stopped. The car just stopped working. It wasn't because they were trying to stop on the railroad tracks, they were trying to go over them, but the car somehow faltered. And then the train was coming again. It was like a recreation of what happened that night. But it was not a suicide attempt. It was them, their car was just not working, and of course, being on a train track, they're going to start freaking out. And as the train was coming, all of a sudden, out of nowhere, they felt the car moving. And the car was off, so it wasn't moving, and he didn't have his foot on the pedal or anything. And the car was being pushed, like someone behind them was pushing it. So they looked behind them, and even in the rearview mirror, there was no one back there. The car was just moving on its own like it was being pushed. And as the car was completely pushed over the train tracks, and the train went by it, and they were this close from being clipped by the train. And as the train completely went by, they looked behind them, and they could see what looked like a figure, an apparition, two ghosts of a man and a woman behind them. Which they figured, oh, these ghosts saved our lives. They pushed our car over the train tracks. So they went home, and that was a night they were not going to remember for the rest of their lives, that they were saved by two apparitions. As we were down there conducting our investigation, myself and PPRS members, we could feel a presence there, like there were, I could feel one presence of a female who, she was very sad because her life was ended immediately before she could she was sorry, but she couldn't completely make her husband realize that she was sorry for cheating on him. It was just a really sad feeling. Plus, you could kind of feel the anger from the husband as well. But we could hear like when you walk down a train track, you can feel like you could like kicking rocks, and rocks are rolling. And we could hear footsteps and hear the crunching of the rocks and the leaves, but as we looked, there was no one there. And plus, it was cold that night, and there was a wind chill. According to the weather, there was not supposed to be wind, but the wind was picking up as we were walking further down towards the intersection between the road and the train tracks, as the train tracks go over the road. It was more of a cold feeling. And PPRS has decided that there may be something there, but further investigation is needed.